Chronicles. And you know what? Let me just get myself totally situated up here. I got a good one for you guys today. I put some effort into, some time and some thought into, and I think it's timely right now. Like, obviously, we know that the Boys is back in like 8 days, right? Like, so I know, like, if you're like me, you're going back and you're, reviewing the Boys, checking out the last couple of seasons, kind of getting up to snuff in anticipation for what's going to be the last season of the Boys, right? And I've been down with the series like since the very beginning, man. Like, well, kind of like towards the very beginning of it, I got put on by a buddy of mine, a coworker of mine, and I got caught up at work, man. I caught the whole series up, right? I'm just getting the Facebook feed up. Mythlab, EP24, Corporate Triad. Okay. Yeah. So I'm getting the other feed going right now, just so we can do Facebook at the same time. But obviously, with the Boys coming back, this is a good time to kind of get in the Vought. And I was just, man, like I said, I was watching the series again. I'm like, let's start looking at really who Vought is, like who Vought Industries really is. And I thought, why not give them like a comparison, right, to the other corporations who are kind of like on that narrative, right? The ones who have been like the dominant corporate policy for all this time. Let's see if I've got my live on here. Right there we go. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was live on Facebook, and it looks like I am. Okay, so I'm good at Facebook. I'm good here. Okay, so I wanted to talk about these three corporations because these guys are all ultimate embodiments of cream. That's cash rules everything around me. This is money over everything every single time. There's not one scenario where either any of these companies actually put the public good at risk, right? At safety, right? It's always at risk with them. These guys are the ultimate, like, we're here to get this money. And like what they're chasing at this point, I don't even know. Like, Vought itself is a pharmaceutical company that's masquerading as an entertainment company. The Weyland-Yutani Corporation, I don't know what, you guys are all over the place. You guys are mining, you're robotics, you're terraforming, you're, oh, by the way, bioweapons division, who is obsessed with getting this xenomorph, right? So this is what we got. And then of course on the far end is the Umbrella Corporation, who is probably the most ridiculous of them all, right? And actually, I'm going to start with the Umbrella Corporation because this is a corporation where none of your goals match up with anything. Like, this is an elite corporation. Again, this is a pharmaceutical giant, right? They are a medical research leader. You can see they have great facilities. They have great minds down there. They are a consumer healthcare brand. That's what their front face is, and that's good. That's the storefront. That's what we all buy when we talk about the Umbrella Corporation, right? So it's not supposed to be bad, except that's just the storefront. What they really do, what they really are, is a bioweapons division. This is their primary focus, is bioweapons, not even like arms. These are bioweapons specifically. So they're making virus. They're making like super soldier type formulas. They're making the kind of stuff that leads to this if it goes wrong. And they're locked in there. They have this elite, genetic expertise. They have military contracting. So this is really a weapons company that is disguised as a healthcare company. And that allows them to kind of get through whatever we're doing. And this is very important in understanding who these guys are, right? This is the most important thing. Okay. Let me see here. I want to see what's going on in my live. Like, why are you not live? Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't know I had to go into the live chat. So I'm up on like various screens right now watching myself, but it's all good. So what these guys do, because they are ultimately a weapons company or that's disguised healthcare, they make stuff like the T virus. And the T virus, man, like this is an insidious. If this is not the most insidious corporation of all time, based on the T virus, I don't know who would be. I honestly don't know who else would even qualify to be in the range of the T virus, right? Like what the T virus ultimately means for all the rest of us is extremely bad, right? And we know this. So these guys make the T virus, and the amount of stuff that comes out of the T virus is not even okay. This is where you get these zombie type creatures. This is where essentially they have launched a zombie apocalypse on the earth. This is what they did. And I don't know how much of this stuff wasn't even planned out. Like, I really don't know. But their T virus, let me see if I can pull up an image of the T virus for you guys here. Because it's probably going to be useful. If you're not up on the T virus, man, you need to get up on the T virus, right? If you're not up on the T virus, let's get you up on the T. Why are you over here? I don't want the screen over here. I want the screen over here. You know, I can't get your screens quite right. All right, let me see if I can find an image of the T virus. So the T virus, this is their main thing. I mean, it's not their main thing. They do other stuff. Like, they do manufacture arms. They do provide, like, I think they provide troops. Or I don't know. Yeah, I think they do provide troops. I think that's one of the services that they do offer is troops. So you can hire, your own surveillance team. They'll make that for you too. They're really good. They're really good at all this stuff that we don't want them to be good at. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I am really just all over the place. I kind of changed my setup a little bit. You know how that is. All right. This is it right here. Let me see. All right. I keep saying this is it, and then I don't have it. All right. But we've talked about the T virus a lot, right? We have talked about T virus a lot. And it's this crazy thing, man. Like, this whole thing is centered around this little set of coded viruses that they developed. They intentionally designed. This rewrites like your cellular structure. That's how powerful it is. It's also known, like, even as they were making it, it's known for enhancing aggression and your survival instinct. So it makes you raw. It causes rapid mutation under stress and sometimes can enhance intelligence. But that's basically pretty rare. That's rare cases. Most people, mostly what you get is you lose higher brain function and you essentially become a ravenous zombie like we've seen. Now, some of the hosts become bioorganic weapons, which they call BOWs. BOWs. You see some very large one. Let me see if I can find an image of a bow for you here, right? Resident Evil. Let's see if I can find a bow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got to watch out for these things here because is it going to be a crappy one? All right, let me get a good image here. Because this is important for you guys to know what's going on down at the Umbrella Corporation. If you ever see one of these, I don't know if that thing's going to play. All right, let me see if I got it here. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. These bows. These are the things that they're really going for, right? And we've seen them test these things out a couple of times because they're just trying to make the best one, right? So this is what we got going on. So they produce these things, these bows. We see like the Alice thing. They produce Alice. They have like what they're trying to get is just all this comes from this progenitor virus. This is discovered in Africa. This is where the whole thing really gets down. Like they discover this disease in Africa, and they've been trying to refine it and weaponize it ever since then. It's been like 40 years that they've been trying to take this virus and weaponize this virus. They're determined to. They built everything around this weapon. So when they see this, they don't see death. They see a programmable organism that they can get to do anything they want. This is military production. This is a profit engine. Although there's no world left after they do all this destruction. So for them, the T virus is a scalable weapon. That's literally how they look at it, right? They aren't really making money off of zombies, right? It's not making this real money off of zombies. Although they're making a lot of zombies, they're making their real money off of their pharmaceuticals. That's where the bread and butter comes in for this company right now. I wish they would just stick to that, right? That would be a whole lot better for everyone. Vaccines, consumer health products, that's a big cash cow for them down there, honestly. And this builds their trust, their global distribution. This builds their government relationships, all comes through this, right? But then you get to their military contracts. That's where their real bread is. selling these bows to governments, private military buyers, because they're pretty controllable, man. Like outside of the everyday zombie, I mean, this is what they'd be like. Yeah, you guys can get a force. You could tell them to go over there and kill those people. They're very minimal in what they need, and they're just trying to rein it back, with the aggression and the programmability. So why send soldiers when you can send something that doesn't feel fear? And that's these guys right here. That's literally a motto that they use when they go out and they're talking to people about come down here to Umbrella and let us hook you up, right? Like we got the ultimate troops. And then you have these controlled outbreaks. Like we have to be realistic when we talk about them. That Umbrella City or Raccoon City, right? Raccoon City was not an accident, right? Raccoon City was actually a controlled test. That's what they went for, right? Like all those people were trapped in there, right? All those people were trapped there, and they knew all that stuff, man. Like they knew it was going to happen. Like the whole thing was kind of a setup, and they wanted to see what was going to evolve out of it. And it was actually an initial test for Alice too. They wanted to see how effective like Alice was going to be. So you drop her off behind lines, right? Does she make it out of here? That was a big part. So Raccoon City, like that whole thing, man. Even that's not an accident, right? So the guys you got to know if you're tracking this storyline is Albert Wesker. He is the corporate insider who turned superhuman. He embodies Umbrella's end goal, which was to evolve humanity. This is ultimately what their whole like thing is. We're evolving humanity. At least that's what they believe. They're ruthless. They're intelligent. They're completely attached. He's like this villain that he is the final product, right? I mean, this guy is, and you can see it all went to his head, man. All of it, man. Then let's pull this guy up here. Let's pull up Adam Wesker. And you can see, like, when she finally faces this dude, this just arrogant ass dude right here, man. Because he's already taken the T virus in a way that it worked for him. So he's basically like, yeah, it does work, right? He absolutely believes that this whole thing does work. So if you see this guy's face, you know exactly who we're talking about. Like this is the poster child for the absolute T virus. So there's a couple of guys in here in addition to Wexler that you're going to hear. Spencer is another important figure. Alice, of course, is an experiment herself. Like Alice is an enhanced human with controlled abilities. So she represents what happens when the experiment works. Technically, Alice is a huge success for them, actually, right? Because not only does she stabilize the mutation, that's ultimately what they're always trying to get to is that you accept the mutation and it doesn't go out of hand. That you get all the benefits of the mutation without getting all like rude and ugly and all that stuff, like how all the other ones look, right? Because they're essentially not humans anymore, is what it is. They've changed so much. Whereas she hangs on. Let me see if I can grab an image of her. Even though we all know Alice, she hangs on to the part that's still dominantly human. She still can tap into like the aggression and all that stuff, and the jazzy abilities. But overall, she still presents as a human, and obviously that's a lot more important. If we're talking about living among humans, like how we move, right? So this is her, like and you see the ones that are successful, the higher rate successful ones, the ones they like are the ones that still retain their human. So they're just really trying to push humanity. That's what they're really going for. But they'll make some bows along the way, and it's like, whatever. Like we tested you to see if you could be this, but you couldn't handle it. And what you get, like this is where it really goes. You get zombies, which are the mass of the infected people are just straight up zombies, right? That's just what they are. And then you get the dogs, and I think they did that intentionally because dogs are already the guard, so they're already like, Cerberus, the dogs. And then, man, the most off the hook one, man. This is the one that actually scared me too, man. Was the most, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys here. This was a like I felt they kind of crossed the line with this one, man. Let me see if I can find an image up here. Yeah, that's it right here, man. Of all the creatures that would get affected, why would it have to be these creatures, man? Why would it have to be these creatures here? I'm going to show you guys here, right? Okay. All right, come on now. The crows, man. This is where it just got insane. Like now, because crows are already intelligent and already stick together. So for them to get all like Resident Evil T virus out, it's just epic problem, man. This is not going to aid in saving the world because now they're affected by the T virus, but they're still crows. They still move like crows. They still move in a pack like that. They're still about that life. But now they've got all these extra abilities, coming along with it. So you can see the stuff just spread. You got higher tier abilities from other beings like the Tyrant or the Nemesis. Like Nemesis was a real beast. And the whole thing is that they're kind of semi-controlled, right? They're semi-controlled. And if they can keep control, it's a success. If you lose control, it is what it is. But the core weakness that these guys have is that every mutation that they make can be vastly unpredictable. So the likelihood of something getting out of control or turning on them is always extremely likely. And that's what they have to operate like. Every weapon has to ultimately be contained. Every outbreak can be managed. That's how they really roll. But man, when they have a disaster, it's epic and it's fast and it spreads like exponentially. So you see they have spread the entire planet, although they keep telling themselves and us that they'll be able to get it back. Like this is their corporate arrogance. This is them refusing to fail in a public space at any time, right? They're not going to have that happen. So now moving on from this terrible company, let me move some of this artwork out of here. So we had to talk about them, right? All right, so the next company up on the list, probably one of my favorites here, actually is Weyland-Yutani. And the reason I say Weyland-Yutani is because they're all about space exploration, right? This company is really known for delivering, obviously it's central to the whole Alien series, right? Them going out and always trying to capture an alien is like, man, that makes a movie right there. They have all this technology. They've gone deep into space. They're old enough that they've got old relics that have already been taken over. So this company is an interstellar technology corporation, terraforming and colonizations, energy, mining, and logistics. But they're actually about acquisition of unknown life forms for weaponization. So again, the bioweapons division is always at the top of it. So they're always looking for these various life forms. And they act like they don't know, like, oh, oops, we kept finding these things. We're not looking for them, but really they are. That's what they're doing. That's why Ripley's mission, where they had a mission, it's like, oh, we got called over here. They already knew that signal was coming from over there. So they sent you guys over there to, oops, run into it, and then have to go over there and worry about your bonus situation. So this is what this is what they are. They're known for like their synthetic program, which is huge and has, been on both sides of the pendulum in this particular battle. Ash, who was a, complete dick, but you have, Andy, who was, I guess basically a cool dude. I like Andy at least. So, these guys, like if we look at David especially, he's the observer, but they can be agents of their own, and sometimes they're flat out independent thinkers. That's what we see from the synthetic program, and this makes up the landscape. It's super important there, and they're a combination of, they can be very, they can be very curious, but they can also be flat out dangerous, right? Like they can actually be flat out dangerous. David, every single one of them. Ash was to me the most dangerous of them all. I mean, in that model, right? We would see that Ash model repeated over and over again. And so at sometimes, some of them can, Bishop kind of stayed to his Bishop didn't state his programming. Bishop stuck to like, I'm not going to allow any harm to come to these people. So Bishop stayed on board, but for the most part, the other sense they don't have a good track record. They have a good track record if you're the company, right? Overall, if you're the company and you're a Weyland rep and you design these synths, you should be very happy with what they do because they do a bang up job of representing the company. Like the interests of the company are what matters all the time, not just some of the time. Every single time, if there's any type of an issue and we're not sure who goes first, look at this guy, right? Even while he was dead, he's still talking shit about how you guys aren't going to make it out of here because he didn't want you to make it out of here anyway. He wants you guys to all have an alien in your chest and then you can't go home or you get stuck in some lab. So that's essentially where this company has been going. And they've been doing this for a really, really long time. Now, they're different from Umbrella because Umbrella is trying to force evolution on all of us, right, in a different way. But Weyland is all about discovery and exploiting things that they discover. Now, obviously, their main thing that they're all about, something far worse even than those crows, is of course the xenomorph, right? The xenomorph, and this is why it's such an amazing creature, right? I'm not on the xenomorph side. I don't even, because from a pure just adaptability standpoint, like this is a part of Weyland's two components that they hate people, right? They really do. So they're always looking for something that's better than us. And what do they constantly choose that's better than us? Well, machines for one. That's why they've been developing these AI, or not just the AI, but all those guys. They've been developing those guys for so long because we're too weak to do the mining work that they need. Ultimately, they want to mine, they want to terraform, and our bodies are too soft. So you go after these xenomorphs, which somehow you think you can tame, but obviously, like as a bioweapon, they produce acid for blood. They have a very adaptive life cycle. They're fast. They're rapid reproduction. They have no hesitation or empathy. They go from a quick cycle from an egg to a face hugger to a chest burster to an adult xenomorph. So this is truly weaponized biology. They're naturally military enhanced. They take directions from a central leader, probably using pheromones. So if the queen can be controlled, then you can control an army of xenomorphs, and that would be amazing. So these guys will be used for establishment of other colonies. You could clear all the species out of a colony before you came in. Obviously, military and government contracts is higher on the list. In terms of research, who knows what you could do, right? You can make vaccines. Who knows what you can do with this amazing creature once you start getting to a cell. So we know the primary drivers of this whole thing, Mr. Weyland. Then obviously we talked about Ash and David. These are kind of primary. Ripley who almost brought the whole thing down and almost brought it back to life at the same time. So what these guys are all about is they're about that biological data, man. That xenomorph is the highest target. They're about technology. They got advanced ships. They have advanced androids. They have terraforming. Human capital is another asset they have, and they don't care about you. If you're a crew, maybe scientists or the corporate operatives, you're more in line. They also have all their research data. So their core weakness is that they're arrogant about the unknown. They believe that they can take on this risk and ultimately control these xenomorphs at all of our peril, every single one of us. Because if they get out, just a couple of them get out, they're done, right? So they're more than even Pandora. This is on a whole nother level, right? So on paper, these guys are one thing, but they're definitely way out there in terms of their risk factor. And eventually they're going to get some of these aliens on Earth. It sounds like they've already been here, but okay, so we'll have to deal with that once they decide just to go ahead and land. Okay. Now, the next one obviously is the main one I want to talk about today, which is Vought. And Vought is obviously, the main company in the Boys series, and has to be discussed in a way that is different from the others because they don't have a true plan to do anything. They just want to keep making as much money as they can. There's a plan and then there's a back plan. And the back plan is the old plan, which is still about, creating the perfect person, right? This is what it comes out of. It comes out of Nazi regime. So this is the story about creating the perfect human and how they want to go about it. And you see what they created, and what they see is that culmination in Stormfront saw, which is in Homelander. So this is what they're all about. This is all about. They come across as an entertainment and pharmaceutical company. They are a defense contractor. They are really a superhero manufacturing control system with limited control. So they hide their monsters. Umbrella goes after hiding their monsters. Weyland hunts him. This company creates their own monsters with this compound V. So this has been used for years, they injecting the babies just en masse, and they look to see who develops powers, and then they bring them in. So what you don't get from this company is a sense of ethics or humanity. Everything's assets, everything's branding to the highest level. Everything's about Q rating and revenue streams. And so their model is that they take these super beings, now they make movies and TV shows and merchandise, and the Seven themselves is a global franchise, right? The Supes are not protectors. They are 100% products. And their defense contracts are with the military, both having manpower, but now they're trying to get in there with literal compound V inside of the military, right? So that's how they go. They've got their compound V derivatives, including this temporary V. That's where they're going to make their real bang for the buck, is on that one. The key figures, of course, are Homelander, who is the ultimate Vought product. He's nearly unstoppable, emotionally unstable because of how they raised him. Stan Eggert, who is the CEO of Vought. He is like this calculating, sharp brain who's been running Vought for years. It's kind of like low key. Frederick Vought, who was a maker of the compound initially. Then, of course, the Resistance with Starlight. So these guys, they have massive assets that are all tied up in the people that they have control of. And I think if they're looking at Compound V, it's for some of the clients, it's more of a like it's an addictive drug. Like it is hella an addictive drug, and that's how they control people with that technology. And they've been working it for a long time. They own all this intellectual property, and they've got connections everywhere. They're in all branches of government, like on some level. So they really, with their news corporation, they can control news cycles. Like this is a big difference. So they kind of have a simmering control of everything, but their only weakness is the humans that they rely on. Because you make something like Homelander, and obviously he's crazy. What do you do now? And that's where their biggest weakness actually comes from. And so what they're really reflective of is like just kind of moral decay. So we got three very different types of corporations, all of them like, man, just living on the edge in terms of our personal safety. I think the safest route we go is still the boys. I don't think they're going to destroy the world. Although Homelander could go on a bender and really do some damage, I don't know if that's even what he wants. But the other two are definitely hell-bent on destroying life for all of us. For all of us. So, as always, I ask you to hit that like and subscribe. I'm going to log off with this one. I'll be back later to talk about, I got another myth reading. I do got that book for you guys as well. I got a free ebook I did on Arachne and Athena. So that'll be a good one. I will make sure it's posted, and I'll drop the link in the description here. And to the meantime, in between time, definitely come and check me out at the channel. Like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate the support.